What is the sluttiest thing you have ever done? Kissed a girl before the third date. I have 2 stories that apply. 1. I was at a house party in college when a girl I had kind of had a crush on was finally paying attention to me. So as the night progresses we start making out and start looking for a place a little more private. We somehow end up outside in the parking lot, and all of a sudden she drops down and my D is in her mouth. I just kind of go with it, and finally a few of my friends come outside right about the same time I did. 2. It was spring break in Panama City. When we were having a party in our condo, a girl from my hometown happened to have the same spring break as my college buddies and I, and so I invite her over. We had only been friends before this, but once we have a few drinks things start heating up. I get the bright idea to go down on her when we still have friends in the room. Everything is going great until one of my friends peeks his head up over the rail on the bed. After he tells everybody else what is going on, they all parade around talking it. But somehow the girl decides to stay the night after we both got embarrassed. So finally we are the only ones awake, or so we think, and the only open spot to sleep is the pull-out couch. This wouldn't have normally been a big deal except one of my friends is also sleeping there. We still proceed to have a sex. But as I am finally getting into a good motion, my buddy sleeping next to us slowly sticks his hand out for a high five. I obviously gave him the high five, but was laughing so hard that I couldn't keep going. 10/10 would do again. I had a friends with benefits that was less friend and more benefit. We were co-workers and somehow it had come up that we were attracted to each other. The conversation after that kind of went, "You like 6? I like 6 too. Let's like 6 together." We wouldn't really talk or hang out, but we would text each other, meet up at a cheap hotel and have really amazing sex. We broke a bed once. I miss that guy. I lived with a girl, not because I liked or was attracted to her, but because I was broke. Or FWB, and her visiting sister stayed at my place. We were all in my bed watching TV and I tried to initiate a 3-way. I slept alone that night. My ex sucked my D on Omegle while 3 weird Indian guys watched. She also knows my Reddit name and is a frequent browser of RS credits, so if you see this, hi, edit, holy it over 1000 upvotes. I love you guys. D. Received a BJ on a first date in a crowded movie theater while watching Django Unchained. It was in the middle of the back row, and the whole time I was praying the man directly in front of me wouldn't turn around. Thankfully I had already seen the movie once before, so I didn't have to worry about paying attention to the plot. Edit. I posted this several months ago in a similar thread. I am old and no longer have new stories. Drunk and stoned college me would walk around an off-campus dorm complex and knock on random doors asking to get laid. Worked entirely too many times. My buddies and I were typical poor college students. On weekend nights we would pick up an 1/8 and a rack of beer. Schaffer was our preferred brand. After getting nicely stoned and buzzed, if we were just hanging out and not doing anything, I would get restless, take the weed and go on a walkabout. In my walks I would just be looking for someone to hang with. Sometimes I would end up in another building commons, but on more than many occasions I would see an open door to a room and walk in and sit down. I would have some sort of connection with the girl, a class together, a friend of a friend, something. I would just be my drunk self blabbering away and offer them some smoke. They would usually laugh at me and play along for a while. I was pretty non-threatening and a very happy drunk. Many times they would call me out on my motivations. I would just agree and counter with the "is it so bad?" argument. At this point one of 2 things would happen. They would either kick me out, always nicely, or we would start making out. Sometimes I would get the "you can stay but I'm not ducking you" line, but they always ducked me. I would say about 1 out of 3 walkabouts had some sort of success, and after a while I developed a regular route. This worked for just about the entire semester before I got a reputation and had to change tactics. Went to Jack in the Box for the burger, then across the street to McDonald's for the fries. My male best friend had a bunch of guys over for football night and I overheard them talking about blowjobs. His one friend who I had never met said that he couldn't get off to just getting head, and well, I like a challenge. It took me 3 hours but I was victorious. He became my blowjob buddy after. I would call him when I was lonely or bored and he'd come over. I would have my fun and then kick him out. I never even kissed him or let him touch me. It only lasted a few months because he eventually wanted to do more and I just wasn't attracted to him. He had a very lovely D though. I met a drunk girl whilst also drunk at a bar. We talked for 2 minutes. Ferociously made out for 5. Then she said sorry and ran away. I have never loved again. Considering I have yet to have my first kiss, probably when I hugged 2 girls at once. Little group hug. Had sex with a girl I just met an hour before in a bus station bathroom. She was not attractive at all. I was just super drunk. I was having sex in my boyfriend's basement on his couch, and I was on top. We were clothed, but I was wearing a skirt and no panties. His dad came down the stairs suddenly while he was still inside me, and we had a blanket over us. So the only thing we could do was just to pretend we were cuddling. His dad had like a 10-minute conversation with us while he was looking for something. The slutty part was that occasionally when his dad would turn around I would jeer at my hips in and out. I was so horny. Quite scandalous, haha. Had anal sex for the first time in this dude's grandmother's driveway. The first time we had sex. Duck you. Georgia. Didn't remember it until the next day when he texted me asking if my ass was sore. I was like yes. Why? And he was like because you asked me to put it in your ass last night. Marvelous. Had sex in a park with a group of homeless people about 10 yards away. One of their dogs broke free and ran over to us just as I was entering, followed by one of the homeless people who scurried over to corral his pooch. Credit to the group. They allowed us to do our business in peace. I do stand-up comedy. I have a small but rabid following. Occasionally, I used to sleep with a fan for an easy lay. Always felt sleazy. Zipe. We wait. Sex party with strangers in a hotel suite in Vegas. Panama City, Florida spring break. Day 1. Sex in the hot tub with Michigan State girl. Day 2. Had sex with another girl 3 different times that day, also Michigan State. Day 3. Took a break. Day 4. Eiffel Tower with my best friend and girl from day 2. Day 5. Sex with black Michigan State girl 5 minutes after meeting her. Day 6. Sex with another random girl. Still from Michigan but not Michigan State. Moral of the story. Michigan State girls are slutty. Went on a blind date with a guy. It was really awkward and very strained. 30 minutes in I just threw some money down on the table and said we should probably call it a night. He looked super disappointed. So I said I'd give him a quickie in his car. When I was 17 I used to hang out on my high school's Ike channel. I got to talking to a girl on there. Things got a little lewd. Pictures were sent. It got to about 10 PM. When finally after my coaxing, she agreed to meet me. I couldn't drive, and neither could she. So I jumped on my bike and rode over to her park where we had agreed to meet. I waited around for about 10 minutes. Eventually she came. Not what I expected. Oh well. 17 and horny. We walked to a dark corner of the park. Quickly made out and then she pulled down my pants. She went down on me for a little bit, then asked if I had a rubber dam. I forgot. She didn't have one either. So we both jumped on our bikes and rode the 5 minutes to the chemist. Bought some and rode the bikes back to the park. For some reason we decided to stop at the Lawn Bowls Club. We got to business. I lasted like 5 minutes max. She got a bit dirty and let me blow on her face. I then offered her my sock to help clean up. She refused, left, and we never spoke again. I'm a little insecure about the way I look. So in order to feel a little more attractive, I decided to dress a little bit more provocatively than usual when I went to visit my father in prison. I thought it would be a nice confidence booster to hear some catcalls and such. But when I got there, no one said a word to me. They wouldn't even look at me. So I kept going to visit my father, wearing progressively sluttier outfits until someone would make a pass at me. No one did. I was recently single and my brother's girlfriend tried to set me up with her friend at a bar. I met this girl. We started to hit it off. We wound up making out and then she put her cell number in my phone and then she left. I assumed she was going to leave with me, and instead of going home empty-handed, I turned to her sorority sister and talked to her for 30 seconds before I started making out with her. 5 minutes went by and I took her back to my place to have sexy time. The next night I hooked up with the original girl. The next 3 days I slept with another 2 women. This was mind-blowing to me and I felt like a big whore. Had sex with a girl within 2 hours of meeting each other. Yo, I guess it's common. But that's my sluttiest. And I was sober. Ducked my co-worker in the bathrooms at work. No locks. No condom. I work at a big bank. I was not on break. So was getting paid at the time. Ninja'd it. Twice. I went to a strip club with a friend of a friend. Let's call her Sarah. She gets me drunk and convinces me to strip. And lo and behold I end up tits out. Naked on a stage. Dancing to shots. Get money. Super awesome. Sarah and I end up at her hotel room with another girl. And that girl's boyfriend. Foursome ensues. Half an hour into sexy times. There's a knock on the door. We remembered that we all ordered pizza. And so the 4 of us, all nude, answer the door, pay for the pizza, eat and then pass out. Had a foursome with random people from Craigslist. At Montreal Fetish Weekend. Asked a girl if she'd like me to go down on her about 15 minutes after the conversation started. I said it real confidently. And she gave me her hotel room number. A few hours later I came by her hotel room. She was hanging out with several friends. Went down on her in front of all of them. And then another girl. I'm normally pretty shy and socially anxious. But I'd taken ecstasy that night and felt invincible. I'd never known. Until I did what it feels like to have no anxiety at all. It was a memorable night. I've kept in touch with the girl and met up with her again a couple of times. My outfit that crazy night. Wait, actually, I think I might have done even sluttier once. Went to a bar one night and after quite a few beers, I decided I was going home with someone no matter what. A somewhat large, pretty damn large, girl figured me out quickly and made the appropriate moves, probably no moves really, on my inebriated self. She paid for a cab back to her place but I was too drunk to get it up. Bet you didn't see that coming. As a substitute, she had me fist her. As I tried to creep out in the AM she said you put me out of commission for a while there. TLDR. The karate version of this movie would be called Night of the Pounding Fist. So, I met the girl on a long distance bus ride. After taking for a while, I think the turning point was the line for all anyone here knows. We could be boyfriend and girlfriend. Start making out. And then the backseat of the bus opens up. We sneak back. And she gets on top of me. My coat over her shoulders. Pretty great six all and all. To be sure you'll catch how slutty this is. Keep in mind this is about 2 PM Saturday. On a crowded bus. Rolling through the countryside. There was some dude reading a book within arm's reach. There were Amish gents with long beards 2 rows up. Pretty slutty if you ask me. I once held hands with a girl. Once. I've had sex with 4 girls and 9 times in total. Who are you woman and who are the men you so randomly offer blowjobs to for ice cream? What the duck? One of you ducked a guy surrounded by homeless people. I had a hard time getting one girl to duck me in her bed. At her house. Alone. Self-esteem lost. Check. Definitely has to be the threesome I accidentally initiated with one of my best friends and our other best friend's flatmate. My memories of that night are a little fuzzy but some of the highlights are making out with her on top of me being ducked from behind. Sitting on her face while she sticks a thumb in my ass while he's ducking her and making out with me. And it finishing with him coming in both our mouths at the same time. Played a football game with some girl I didn't know. Met her 10 minutes earlier. The bet. Loser gives the winner all 6. She lost. Paid up. And I actually think she threw the game. I had a relationship with a guy who was almost twice my age when I was 19 over the summer. It was supposed to be a one night stand sort of a thing. I was trying my hand at casual sex. But we got along really well and was hot as duck so we just kept doing it. He taught me a lot sexually. I had only dated 2 other guys before. And neither one of them enjoyed kink all that much. Anyway, sluttiest moment of my life was with him. He invited his friend over for a threesome. And I got DP'd. Pretty sure that was one of the best orgasms of my life. Would recommend. Was so drunk. Like maybe the most drunk I have ever been. At some point from 1 to 3 in the morning I meet another girl also about to get alcohol poisoning. We say a couple of words. I think positive. Something's great times right? Yay no. Then proceed to the bathroom where I'll lick her clean. Would not recognize this person if I saw them again. Got wasted at a friend's wedding. Crashed on a friend's hotel room floor with my boyfriend as did 4 other people. When we thought everyone was asleep, my boyfriend and I had sex on the floor across the room from my best friend. I thought I was being pretty quiet about the nasty things I whispered into his ear. But then they talked to my BF the next day about what a dirty girlfriend he has. Props to him. Not so much for me because of embarrassment. That morning, we discovered a guy was sleeping in the closet that we were ducking right against. He walked out of the closet saying, "Duck the sit and split. Who the hell sleeps in a closet?" I met a guy at a bar this weekend. He took me back to his friend's house where he was staying, but we couldn't go inside, so we ducked in the back of his Kia. Never done that before so I feel pretty slutty about it. TLDR ducked a stranger in a Kia. In high school, my house was the party house. I watched my friend get eaten out by her boyfriend. I walked in on another friend getting ducked from behind on my pool table, watched for a minute. At homecoming me and my buddy switched dates and both got laid. Oh, this was all in the same night. I hooked up with my ex-girlfriend a couple times because she would bring over an 1/8 of weed every time and leave it at my place. Got drunk with a freshman girl in college. Went back to her dorm room. Her roomie was asleep about 20 feet across the room. Just about to get down to business when drunk girl passes out. Can't wake her up. So I decide to leave her unsullied. Consent laws being what they are. Roomie wakes up and asks what's wrong. Told her that her roomie passed out and I don't duck passed out girls. Oh. She replies. Want to do me instead? Wide yes. I'd like that very much. Went back to a girl's dorm room to duck her within the first drink I had with her. Can't remember her name. In one 7-day period, I slept with 5 different women over 6 nights to avoid any flaming. Each of them was an ongoing thing, and each of them knew that I was sleeping with other people. Your mom, but I hear she doesn't like being called a thing. Camping at my friend's property, drunk as duck. Take this girl back to a camper and start to bang out in the bed. A few minutes later, my buddy comes in with another girl and they start to bang out on the couch. I'm not sure how much time passed but I end up walking out and smoking a cig with my buddy. We grab some waters and head back and the 2 girls were still naked. They say something about switching. My buddy and I give each other the short shrug and go at it with opposite girls. In the same room, I saw his D. Not me, but one of my friends gave a BJ for a Doritos Locos taco. She said it's cause I'm Mexican. Received a BJ for ice cream. I didn't even give them ice cream. I am currently seeing an older woman who gives me money to spend time with her. I then in turn, take that money and give it to a younger woman I am seeing to spend time with me. It's the natural order of things. So this is what I'm masturbating to tonight. God damn it Reddit. I slept with 3 different women in 1 year. Yeah. As a really introverted dude who is also turned on by women who make the first move. Nothing very interesting at all. I once got busy in a Burger King bathroom. I'm in my early 20s and I don't know if it's because of my age but lately when it's around a week before I'm supposed to start my period, I turn into a 6 crazed lunatic. Like completely insatiable. It'll go from having a pretty normal sex drive to just like uncontrollable urges that, as a result of me being single, lead to pleasing myself around 6 times a day. I happened to be experiencing this when I went on a weekend vacation with a group of friends to a beach house. My hormones tricking me into trying to conceive a child, combined with copious amounts of booze, turned me into a perfect storm of sluttiness and depravity. I was hammered and just couldn't shake the overwhelming need to be ducked. So night 1, I initiated sex with one of my male friends that I was on vacation with. It was all fine and good, and normally that would have been enough but alas, it was not. I go outside of the hotel and sit on a bench to smoke a cigarette after said male friend had already passed out. I then see a very cute guy walking towards the hotel, and with the breathiest, sexiest voice, I asked him to join me. My lips and tongue had graced almost every inch of his body. Less than 2 hours later, night 2, had sex again with friend from night 1. Then met up with stranger from night 1 after another night of heavy drinking and had a threesome with him and one of his friends. I haven't had a 1-2 night stand since then, and this all happened last July. Definitely the sluttiest weekend of my life. I hope some other women out there can relate or go through these crazy sex hormones once a month like me. Was an older woman's duck buddy for about 3 months. I was 21, she was 42. She had a 5-year-old kid. She paid me to babysit. We'd go out to really expensive restaurants to liquor me up, even though she didn't need to. She was very attractive. Fun conversations and the sex was outstanding. Few kinky moments. Public fooling around and lots of get over here now texts. Edit. Words are hard. Got a blowjob before my first kiss. Yeah, mixed priorities. I got really drunk and stripped down completely naked at a UNM frat party. There were a few really cute guys there and I wanted to impress them with how crazy I could be. I was trying to act the way I thought really cool college girls were supposed to act. Anyway, I got down on all fours in front of about 15 guys, who were all chanting and yelling and bro-slapping each other. 2 guys approached me in the little circle at the same time. The first guy pulled out a sock full of chicken fat and commenced to grease my asshole up liberally. The second guy was holding a bucket full of old pennies. He commenced to stuffing pennies up my ass one by one as fast as he could. He got up to about $45 in pennies, breaking the old record, when the crowd just went nuts. Their yelling frightened me and I flinched, which caused a sphincter contraction, causing all the greasy pennies to come spilling out of my ass onto the saran wrap on the floor. It was a glorious avalanche of shiny copper pennies bursting forth from my anus. Anyway, I gathered up my pennies in a bag, put my clothes on and left as quickly as I could. My wife picked me about 20 minutes later. We both had a healthy laugh about the whole thing. That greasy bag of pennies fills a desk drawer in my office as a reminder that even though I'm in my 30s, I can still fit a whole bunch of metal money up my ass. Edit. People are calling bullet on me. I can't tell if they're serious about it, or if they're in on it. Calling bullet on this post is like me slapping the dinner table, jumping up, and yelling I call bullet when my 4-year-old tells me a purple bear tore down the drapes in her room, and then nodding at my wife in self-satisfaction at my powers of deduction. It's Reddit. Of course my ridiculous story is made up. They were quarters.